Felicity Jones in the Aeronauts says, "The gas release valve is frozen. I need to climb up and open it," when she's riding in a hot air balloon 36,000 feet above the ground. No. In the mid-1800s, a pilot and a scientist set out to take an epic flight in a hot air balloon, well, rather a gas-filled balloon, to just see what they can discover, what the atmosphere is like, how high they can go. It's a scientific journey up into the clouds where no man has ever gone before, or at least to heights that no man has ever gone before. Felicity Jones and Eddie Redmayne star in this claustrophobic adventure. They are really good together. They have some great chemistry, and they just work together. And then you combine that with a compelling story. I like that we get flashbacks of Jones's character. And what that does is that just fills us in on who she is, but also informs us of her demons that she's facing and how they affect her current behavior. Those demons that are haunting her, they can also endanger her mission, which, when you're up 36,000 feet above the ground, you don't want anything to go wrong. As can be expected, a lot of this is shot on a green screen. But the unfortunate thing is you can tell. Just the way that the characters look, the people look, versus the background and the scenery around them when they're up in the air, it's so vastly different, and the lighting is just kind of unnatural, that it really becomes obvious that it's not being shot up in the air. And I understand why they did that. I mean, you can't control the weather when you're up there. Sound is terrible, all of these things. But it's unfortunate because it drew me out. I noticed it became a distraction in those shots. Now, at points in this film, I liken the action to being trapped in a submarine. I mean, it's just very claustrophobic. It's close quarters. And when something goes wrong or when you're uncomfortable or anything like that, it's not like you can step out and just take a break. I really enjoyed the tension in this film because it's Felicity Jones and Eddie Redmayne interacting in the basket of a gas-filled balloon way up in the air. And I'm kind of glad that I watched this at home on Amazon Prime versus being in the theater, only for the reason that I think my vertigo would have kicked in at points and it just would have made me wildly uncomfortable, because there are some shots where you are looking down or you're pushed out of the balloon to look down to see the grandeur of the ground below you and how terrifyingly high you are. And I think seeing that on the really large screen would have been like, no. The story is kind of based on real life. Eddie Redmayne's character is a real person, or rather was a real person. He was a scientist who did go up on balloon expeditions. And in fact, he went on a lot of them in a very short period of time. Felicity Jones's character is kind of an amalgamation of several female characters that did live during that time. So that's where we get that it's kind of a true story. At least it's kind of based on a true story. Some of the aerial views in this are absolutely stunning. I mean, the camera work that they did, especially when you couldn't tell that it was a green screen, when sometimes they're up on the balloon or they're outside because they're having to repair things or just maneuver things to either add weight, to lose weight, to change direction, anything like that. It was stunning to look at, and it was great to watch. And I like that. And that's what made me kind of just added to the tension, and also reminded me there's no way in the world you're getting me up in one of those balloons, especially that high up. No, thank you. And then you take into account at their highest point, they're at about 36 or 37,000 feet up in the air in a balloon. Think about it. That is where jetliners right now, that's about their cruising altitude, 35-ish thousand feet. That's where they cruise. That's insane. And we're in a pressurized tube with oxygen all around us. I can't imagine what that does to a person, to their head, to anything else when you're way up there. Could you ever hear again? I mean, try and imagine unclogging your ears. I mean, when you land, you yawn or chew gum or whatever, your ears get clogged up. But golly, you probably wouldn't hear for a month when you come down from a balloon. This is a good movie for a casual watch, but it's not something that you need to rush right out and see or rush to sit down and watch because it's on Amazon Prime. But it is family friendly, and so that might be a really good option for you and everybody else in your house to just plop down on the couch and give it a watch. There's no sex, nudity, or profanity. There is some mild violence. I give the Aeronauts 3 out of 5 couches. So would you go for a high-flying ride in a gas-filled balloon? Let me know in the comments below. Me? No. I'm good. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.